Well, we are back. And not only can you hear us, you can see us. It's Gil and Renee of the Rich Relationship Refuge, and we are doing our business edition in the beautiful Alabama. And we have our first guest, our first business guest, because so many times we see the end result and we don't know the journey. So we're here in the Be.You.tiful Boutique with Keiauna White. Some of you know her by other names, but her name is Keiauna. And she not only makes people beautiful, she has created an environment for people to grow and connect. Keiauna, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your story. What was the motivator for you opening the Be.You.tiful Boutique?
Oh, wow. So the motivation behind opening the Be.You.tiful Boutique has to be rewound just a bit. I always had a passion for fashion, thanks to one of my aunts who is like the fashion queen. And according to my granddaddy, I always knew that working a 9-to-5 was not my thing. So we had to figure out a way to make both of those work. It wasn't always the Be.You.tiful Boutique. I started off brick and mortar with a consignment shop. That was about 2013-ish. 2013, my children were growing. They had places to be, things to do. And once I got everything open, the walls painted, the clothes hung, I was like, somebody's got to stay in here. We have business hours.
Yeah.
Who's going to take my kids to practice? Who's going to run to choir rehearsal? What am I? Oh, wait, this might not be. So I've got to stay here all day, even if no one comes, or either I have to pay someone to be in here. And at that time, I wasn't ready to do either one.
Right.
We quickly transitioned into a mobile boutique. It was 2013. The first fashion truck had just started in LA. And I said, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to do.
I want to be mobile.
Yes. I need a truck, a bus, a daycare van, something. So I literally tried and searched eBay, all the things. I often say that like God's timing is perfect. It's one thing to have a dream and a vision and no money. Like we do that often.
Yes.
We can cook
Most
up some
entrepreneurs
stuff.
do.
Right. But to have a dream, a vision, or a plan and the money, and it still doesn't work out, it's like, did I make this up? Or was this really for me to do? So started looking. I would find some things online. Friends who were helping me search would say, no, don't do that. Don't buy it from there. It might have salt damage.
Right.
Let's go look. And so finally, one evening before preparing to do an online auction with some friends of mine who owned a car dealership, I prayed the prayer, okay, God, I know you told me to do this. Well, I think you told me to do this, but if you didn't, then I don't want to if I don't find anything tonight, I'm just going to stop looking and I'll go get a dumb job and work for somebody and I'm probably going to hate it. But if that's your will for my life, this was my actual prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Like if that's your will for my life, then it is what it is. I'm not looking anymore.
Right.
And needless to say, I found a FedEx truck in Miami, Florida, in the online auction for half of the budget that I had.
Wow.
And we used the other half to get it here.
Right.
So started to build out. The short version of my story is we started Montgomery, Alabama. We didn't have mobile business licenses at the time. So it was a kind of, I went to acquire a business license for a mobile business. And they were like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I said,
you befuddled them.
Yeah, I said, well, give me the same license that the food trucks have. And they said, food trucks? We don't have any food trucks.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like,
so you're before your time.
I just bought a barbecue sandwich off a food truck. We have food trucks. So we figured out ways to do that. I would travel to larger areas who were familiar, who had mobile events, parks and things, Atlanta, Birmingham, and do some things. I would do private events here. All things were going well. And then, boom, I was going through a divorce and Kiara was getting ready for college. So of course, like most entrepreneurs, or at least the
responsible ones.
Well, yeah, well, at that point, it was like, okay, I'll go get a real job.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we don't see entrepreneurship as real or, legitimate until you're on the inside.
Right.
And so I can find out where my check is coming from and where it's going to be. So after the divorce, Keiauna going to college, a new marriage, a terrible car accident, which landed me in a neck brace. I thought I wasn't going to drive.
Yeah.
I can't go up and down on the truck. This is over. And my husband said, you have a job.
Right.
Like at that point, I'm Googling Pizza Hut online. What can I do from home? I'm never going to drive again. This sucks. Help me. Woe is me. All the prayers.
Right.
I decided to pop up in downtown Montgomery, 2018 holiday season, fell in love. Downtown was booming, EJI, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah. And the thing I love that you are being transparent about the entrepreneur journey, because this new generation of entrepreneurs want the benefits of owning a business without it costing them anything. My definition of entrepreneur is that it costs you everything and you do everything and you do it until it produces results. And you are definitely the epitome of that.
Thank you.
I want you to unpack something that you said about a real job, because so many people don't see entrepreneurship as a real job. But is the job the goal, or is taking care of your family the goal? So for you, what when you say a real job, what does that mean to you?
At the time, it meant clocking in for someone who's going to pay you a check. You know how much your check will be according to how many hours you're going to work, do what you need to do, and go home to your family.
Yeah.
At the time, that's what real job meant, coming from my grandfather, who retired from the Air Force, who then retired from the state of Alabama, who, planned it all out. He, of course, couldn't understand me trying to do something with no benefits and no steady paycheck and
no vacation time.
None of that.
Right.
So real job, that way, and I used air quotes with that because if you're an entrepreneur, then you understand the hours, the energy, the sacrifice that goes into owning your own, building your own, and all the things. So it's far more than a real job. It's not even a job. It's a lifestyle.
It is. And it's so, the thing that I want to kind of talk a little bit about is about the back end. Because the other day when we came to set everything up, you were doing something that people don't share on Instagram and people don't think about. And it's the detailed cleaning that goes into owning a business. Why is that important to you as a business owner, that the back is as nice as the front?
The back, definitely, because it's going to reflect in the front. There are lots of things that we can do. There are lots of things that we can pay others to do. But I mean, when it's your baby, you want to nurture it.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
Like, it's hard to trust someone with your baby. And so there are just some times, I'm not saying that I'll always or that I always do.
Right.
But the day that you came in, I was over the way certain areas were looking, and I decided to do it myself.
One of the things that I always say is that there's a difference between an owner and a renter. And I think that one of the things that Lord, when I was a hairstylist, I was mopping someone's floor. It wasn't my salon. And I remember the Lord saying, if you take care of this like it's yours, one day it will be. And I think so many times we're afraid to do the menial, mundane things in fear of it degrading us, when really that's what elevates us. What elevates us are the things that we do when no one is watching. And so the thing that I can say that I see in you, because we were talking about how we met. And I told Gil, how did you meet him? I was like, and it was racking my brain. And I thought about it. We were at a pop-up in East Chase, and your truck was there.
Wow.
And I have wanted a truck, a food truck, some kind of truck forever. I have wanted a truck, and my husband keeps saying all the things you're saying. No, you don't want that. No, you can't do that. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I just love her. She has a business and she has a truck and she's so friendly and she talks to people. Oh, I just love her. And then you invited us to come to an event at your store. And
I do
I
remember
was
that.
selling my books, and so from that to this, to see your growth and to see your commitment and to see you still be so touchable, because so many times when we're in the camera and we're in front of media, people become very untouchable. You and I talked about that. Why is that important to you? Why is it important to you that you are just as touchable in person as you are on camera?
Okay. So let me just be totally honest now. The goal is some untouching. Like the goal is to be untouchable at times, but
You mean to have
that
personal boundaries?
that's right. Personal boundaries, to
Personal
enjoy
space.
freedoms, all of the things. So I can be a bit extreme. Um, Once in all of this, in all of the transitions and the journeys, and we talked about
Yeah.
Earlier how I said it wasn't always the Be.You.tiful boutiques. It was
Right.
actually Hot Mom's consignment. I was like, I'm a mom, I'm hot, I can do this. Consignment is good. Nobody wants the same clothes that everybody's buying out of the stores anyway. So that's what it was. But during this journey, I realized that it's much more than trading sweaters for dollars. Like this is my God-given ministry.
Yes.
And to be able to walk into that, I am going to have to do what he tells me to do when he tells me to do.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Oh, it gets very uncomfortable.
And even when the results don't come the way we planned it in our head. And I think so many times we don't realize that just because it doesn't happen when we think it's supposed to happen, it doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. And I've watched you not give up on that. So what would you say has been your secret sauce that's motivated you, that's kept you going when the days are, like you said, when nothing's happening? What do you do in your space, in your mind, to keep you moving forward?
I reflect on the lost relationships. I reflect on I'm getting teary-eyed here. The moments that I did miss with my children, working to sacrifice for those freedoms for us all.
Yeah.
And that makes me push.
Yeah.
It lets me know that there's a reason for all of this, as well as the relationship. I've been crying all night. I don't even know what's happening. But the business, like I said, is my God-given vision. It's built on relationship.
It is.
So I'm honored to be here because when I say that, I literally mean it. So many people use community and relationship as, I don't know, buzzwords or, just reasons to
It's
belong.
cool. It's catchy.
It's cool. It is now. It's
trending.
It is. It's trending. But no, it's a really big thing. And what pushes me is being able to show up as myself and encourage other individuals to show up as themselves, and watching my kids as my children are grown. Now they're 20, 22, and 24.
Wow.
And now they can look at me and say, oh, Mom, you did it. Oh, this is what you were doing. It's a real thing. But I want them to know, as well as others that I don't have a personal connection with, that when God gives you a vision, it's yours. No one else can do it but you.
Right.
And you cannot give up on that. Like, that's what you were put here for. So you don't have a choice to just quit and stop.
Right.
In a vision. So that's what pushes me in those times to know, in the times when there are no sales, or I have to come in, or I feel the need to come in and wipe down PVC pipe and celebrate cleaning a drain that has been so dusty for 3-4 however many months.
Yeah.
In those moments, I know this is my mission.
Yeah. Because a part of it is understanding that entrepreneurship is about you being able to do everything until you can pay somebody to do the things that you don't do. You don't start off in a business paying someone to do the things you can do, because then you have less margins for you to be to get out of the red.
Right.
And so I think it's important that you are doing those things and that people know that. And that's why I wanted to say it in a platform like this, because so many times we just think, oh, I'm going to pay somebody to do this. I'm going to pay somebody to do that. I'm going to pay somebody. And then you don't understand your business. You don't know how to manage the website and manage the machines. And if you don't know how to do those things, you're going to be paying things. One of the things that I love that Oprah said was always sign your own checks. There's just some things as an entrepreneur, and especially as a female entrepreneur, that you have to know how to do in order to keep your business where it's a part of you. And I love that's what you're doing. And I love to see how you have made relationships around something that we all have to do, and that's to shop. If you were talking to a young entrepreneur, what would be something that you would say to them that you wish you knew?
Before I answer that question, I want to go back to what you just said. There are lots of lessons in going back, staying grounded, mopping your own floors, even when you can afford to pay someone to mop your own floors, because oftentimes we get caught up. Whether
we start
the
reading our own publicity,
all the things, and if the margins are in the green or the red, especially when they're in the green, it's easy to pay someone else to do everything.
Right.
But with that also, like you said, you have to know it yourself. With that also can come hurtful lessons. Lessons that will take you from the green to the red.
Right.
And so at this point in my life, like right this moment, I have decided, okay, let's scratch all of this and start not at ground zero, but let's pretend we're at ground zero.
Good.
And so that leads me to answer the question that you asked next. What would I say to an upcoming entrepreneur? Learn your business, find mentorship, invest in yourself, stay true to yourself.
Yes. And the thing, I love social media and I love the internet, and I think all those things are wonderful, but there's nothing like having someone that you can touch, someone that can walk alongside of you. And I know that's something that's in your heart to do in your big dream future. So I want you to share, what is something in your big dream future that you want to be able to do to make the landscape of entrepreneurship easier or better for the next generation?
Oh, wow. Big dream future, not so far away future. The goal is to have the business run itself so that I am reachable, touchable, to share my experiences, my education, my time with those who aim to do what I have done.
Yeah.
And so that is definitely the goal. It's amazing to see things come together sometime. And I know that you know this because
like,
you have done a lot.
How did you take from this? And I love what you said. Sometimes we never see what God has for us because he's saying, I couldn't get you to do the last thing I said. So I'm going to give you something else.
Right.
And so I love when you said that we have to be willing to take the steps and be on this journey of redefining ourselves and not feeling like, oh no, I had this dream, it's going to be a truck and it had to be that way. We have to be open to God. I always say my plans are in pencil.
Yes. Yes. Quickly erased.
Yes. Yes. So wrapping everything up, and I'm so grateful for the time you've opened yourself up to us. And for us, we work with couples. So I would never hand you a tissue if you're crying. You know why? because tears are a way for us to get cleansed. And when you give someone a tear, a Kleenex, unconsciously you're saying, stop. That's not okay. And I think that we have to get to a place in our culture and in our society that we don't have to be these strong, callous women, that being strong can still be soft and fragile. And crying doesn't make us weak. Crying means that God is bringing some stuff into our lives, that we need to get some stuff out and make room for some new stuff. And so don't let the tears fool you. Tears don't mean that you're weak or fragile. Tears mean that you're being open to what God is running through your life, and you have to be open to that. And so I just want to let you say one thing you want to leave everybody with. One thing you want to leave everybody with that would really help them have some hope of what a dream could become.
That's a tough one. One is the tough part.
Okay, how about two? How about two?
So let's just say, it has been my experience that the hardest part about life itself is life itself. Show up as yourself.
Yes.
And continue on your mission and your journey to do what God has impacted you to do.
Yeah. I want you to share with everyone how they can get in contact with you, how they can follow you, how they can come to your beautiful boutique and buy beautiful fashion forward items from you.
Oh, wow. So we are on Instagram and Facebook as Be.You.tiful On Wheels. That's BEYOUTIFUL on wheels.com. We have a free and downloadable app, Big BU, that's spelled BIGBEYOU. And that's also our website, BIGBEYOU.com.
We are so grateful that you took the time to share your life and your beautiful boutique with us. And so look forward to other episodes about business, because we don't want to just help you with your relationship with food, God, and people. We want to help you with your business this year. So Gil's not in front of the camera this time. Gil is behind the camera because he has made a decision that he wants to be able to do that. So now he's going to produce us, but we're going to continue to bring you content to help you have richer relationships, that you live your life with fewer regrets. And you remember that you are more than enough. And we love you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for your investment in time. Remember to subscribe to the show and hit the notification icon to be notified when new episodes are posted on the podcast platform that you're listening from.
Or you can always find us on our website at richrelationshipsus.com or our YouTube channel, Rich Relationships with Gil and Renee. If you found this podcast helpful, or you think it could help someone that you know and care about, please pass it along and share it with them.
And also, you can always send your questions and comments to richrelationships.us@gmail.com. This is a weekly podcast, and the new episodes are going to be posted on Monday by 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, we're stronger together.
Let's grow.